nature.
How you doing, Craig?
Greg, what's up, brother?
Doing okay, thank you. How about you guys?
Good. We're good.
Been a rough first part of the year. I went on a trip up to Virginia just before Christmas and was in a really bad accident.
Oh man, I'm so
So
sorry to hear that.
yeah, no, we're we're both in good shape now, but we weren't right afterwards. We were smashed into the back of us on I-95. So it's been a mess.
Jeez, man. Well, I'm glad that I'm glad it seems like it's moving in a good direction for you, man.
Yeah.
And
So so that's a win for the day that we're back in back in the world here.
yeah, well, that is definitely a win. Sometimes we take the simple things for granted, and like being able to have our health and walk around and when it's taken away or hampered for a little bit, then getting it back is, I mean, that's the most important thing in the world. So I'm glad you're all right. But I'd love to, let's see if we could do a
Thank you.
rapid fire for like who's got some wins, who's got cool stuff to share. I'll start off. We sponsored the seven figure agency event last week, and that went fantastic. We had a lot of positive responses. So many like huge agencies, doing $4 or $5 million a year that are using our platform now, and we're just blown away by what we have, which is amazing. Because I know there's competitors out there with parts and pieces of what we do, and I know it's only a matter of time before other people have what we're going to show you guys today. Like I'm sure in like 3 months or something, who knows? Some other people will be copying or be creating on their own identical stuff to what we have. So, but it was really it's always amazing when you have like people that have tried out all these other tools. They've tried out, um, you know, local Viking, local Falcon, local Dominator, these other tools, Bright Local, all these different ones. And they're like, you guys absolutely crush them. And that's so nice because these are agencies that have huge teams that are evaluating this stuff. They've dove deep. One of the big advantages we have, which we felt a ton of appreciation for, is the accuracy of our tool. We feel it's second to none, and we probably had 6 or 7 big agencies that were using it that just said that. So it was great. I'll open this up in just a second. We've redone our pricing, we've redone our plans. So I'll get into that more. But let's talk wins. Who has something to celebrate? We're celebrating an amazing event that we had last week. But who else has something to share with us? Are people being shy?
I'll go. I'm very rarely here. But yeah, just using doing some text outreach to try to get some new clients and kind of land them with like a little video and all that. But just reusing the heat maps, always helpful. Man, it always gets them. What is that? What is that my business? And so I got 2 deals last week, 2 little small SEO deals, but it was definitely the heat map on that video to them that really helped. So I always appreciate what you guys got. So
That's fantastic. Yeah. I'm gonna be doing a strategy session here on the heat map and how to close people in the near future, to help you guys take that to another level. Because just like you, Jeff, I'm in sales now again in our agency, and we added about $22,000 in MRR in January, it was a lot of the heat map, right? Jeff sat in on a couple of those calls. I think I'm on the verge of closing another client at $5,000 a month. We've got another that's going to be at 2,000. We're probably going to add another 15 to $20,000 in MRR in March, and it's from the heat map. And guys, like I get some of you guys, well, I don't know how to deliver if I were to sell something. Well, that's the great part of it is like I'm a big believer. If you guys can sell, like the delivery can be handled. That's the easy part. You can pay people. You've got $20,000 a month to pay someone that needs $3,000 a month or $4,000 a month. It's a home run, right? So focus on selling. The heat map can deliver that for you. So Jeff, congrats on those 2 clients. It's great to hear, man. It's awesome to see you on here too. Cool. Who else we got? We still got Brad, my buddy Brad from the Seven Figure Agency was out there with us at the event. So it's good to see you on here, Brad. Brad is going to be joining anybody's interested in going to the event, SEO Spring Training, I highly recommend it. I'll be there speaking with a number of other people that I'm really excited to see speak. A number of high-level speakers out there. Those of you guys know Josh Nelson at all, he'll be out there. There's 15 or 20 of the best SEO people in the world. Fantastic event. So if you're interested in that, I highly recommend it. It's in April. It's in Phoenix. I'd love to hang out with you guys if you can make it out there.
Are those discount codes still valid, Patrick? I
So.
think Terry said they ended.
I think he extended mine. So LeadSnap 24. And I'll do this too. I was on a webinar earlier. I'll throw in a coaching call for anyone that signs up. I want to blow up my buddy Terry. I love Terry. I want to blow up his event for him. So if anybody wants my time, I'll do a one-on-one coaching call with you, help you work through agency issues, SEO issues. If you got somebody that's on the fence and you want to use that time to help you close someone in your agency, I can do that. I want to help. I want to help Terry. I would love to hang out and broaden our circle of connections of people we've met in real life, and do it at this event. It's going to be fantastic. So it's if you go to SEO Spring, I think it's SEOspringtraining.com. So yeah, so that is,
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat. I just tested the discount code and it's, I think, roughly 25% off.
Okay.
With Patrick, or as LeadSnap 24 actually.
Yeah, and some of you guys, some of these people on this call have paid $500 or $1,000 for an hour of my time. So I don't put that out there often, and I don't put that out there loosely. So happy to, though, if you guys go through that. I'm not getting paid for this for Terry. I just want to help you guys, as I think the people that are in our coaching program know where my heart's at with trying to have an impact on people. And Terry came out and spoke at our event, and I just want to return the favor and make it awesome for him. So check that place out. All right. I'm not seeing any other wins pop up. So I think you guys, maybe we want to get into this. So we got Michael, my buddy, Michael Wimple on here. It's so good to see so many awesome, so many of my favorite people jumping on here. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about what we released over the last couple of weeks here. And I will be generous with my screen. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Are you good? All right, cool. So this beautiful software, we have LeadSnap here. You guys will notice, if you haven't been in here or you're currently not, you don't have a subscription, we have this area here broke out for GBP, right? So we've separated things out, and you'll see that there's some things in here that are in beta now. So one of the releases, this release we didn't mention a lot about, but it's been out for about 2 weeks. So in our agency, with like thousands of Google business profiles that we're managing, this has been really useful for us. It gives you the ability to create your own views, right? So this one maybe is focused on reviews. You'll notice that we have different columns. So you can come over here and you can add whatever columns you want, and then you can apply whatever filters you want, right? So if I go here to the advanced search, we have a lot of options here on this with different statuses, and we're building in a lot of conditional filters. So for instance, if you want to see the properties or the locations that you have that have not had a review in 30 days or have unreplied reviews, you've got all this information. You can see this listing right here has 170 photos. That's good. The last review date was apparently, is that today or 2 days ago? So the idea here is that you can build out these like customizable views to help identify deficiencies. So in our agency, this is obviously a demo account that we have here. The filters are really fast. We've changed the whole technology stack that we're using here. So you can see I've got this in here, but this is way faster and like more responsive now. And I've got a bunch of different columns. So we've kind of changed the user interface, and this will be going across the entire LeadSnap platform here. You have the option to click on here and go into the listing and go to other pages. But the first update here is really about like organizing the data. So for instance, I can go in here and I can create a new view. So I'll create a new view, and I can have this be private or shared. And then I can save these filters. So what we do in our agency is we have essentially 4 project managers, and each project manager has their own tab that's created where we can see there are listings in here. And what we'll be bringing in here is the Google Insight data is coming in here, the search results. So if you want to say like, show me the heat maps, show me the properties where the heat map has decreased by or increased by 10%. And it will be a live update on that at all times. You'll have this information in here. So it's fantastic for identifying problems, for staying organized, all that kind of stuff. So that's a big update. That's been out for a couple weeks, and you'll see that we're bringing this into other parts of the application too. So let's take a look at a couple sections here now. We have reviews. So the reviews section will bring in all the reviews that have come into your agency. And again, we've got the tab. So if you wanted to say like, show me the reviews for one company, show me the reviews that are, maybe I want to look at the ones that have no reply. So I can go in here and I can identify what reviews have no reply. And check this out. So we've got this little thing here, reply with AI, right? We can bulk apply. We can view. So if I wanted to reply to a bunch of these at the same time, I could go up here and I could say, this bulk menu pops up. If I want to put the same reply to a bunch, I can do that easily now, or I can AI reply. So I can come in here and set the tone. So maybe I want to set this as warm, and I'll make this response be short. And we'll go through and you'll see that these listings in the next few minutes, we'll see a reply start to post through here. One of the things that there they are, they're posting through already. And I can click on this and I can edit this. It's actually reading the review to make the reply. So every reply is unique, right? And oops, not sure why that one didn't show up. I don't know why that one's not in there yet, but we can see, I guess we have a small, let me refresh this here. I think we have a refresh bug that we've got to work through. We've only had this out for about a week now, but if I go through here, I can go and reply to these. I can change this. I can edit it. So that's part of it. We've made it super easy. So now, like if you're bringing in a lot of reviews and we know that replying to reviews and showing activity is a ranking factor, we've given you guys the easy button. This is just for the existing one. One of the cool things that's in here, let's see if I can find one. We now are detecting lost reviews as well. So if a review has been removed, it will be highlighted in red. So you can see what reviews have been removed. For those of you who are using strategies like getting vendors, there could be a really cool feature coming because we're adding in like tagging and customizable fields. So you could say, hey, show me the reviews that have been lost that have this tag, right? So I'm not saying that you should purchase reviews, but that could be handy for that if that is something that you engage in. You can apply different rules and settings to each of the reviews. So if we kind of go back, we're going to go back to this locations page here. And let's say I highlight a few of these, right? And I want to look at the review settings. So you have some options in here. So you can automate this. You can set it up so you never have to reply to reviews again. Or you can do nothing. Like by default, it's set to do nothing, but we'll set up the auto reply. So if I auto reply and publish response, notice this line right here. We will delay and randomize the response times for all automated review responses between 4 hours and 3 days. So we're going to make it look organic for you guys, right? And we also have it, you can set whatever tone. Like if you want this to be warm or whatever, you can set a response length and you can decide, hey, maybe we want to handle like the 1-star and 2-star and 3-star ones with a little bit more care. So we won't auto reply to those. We'll just put those there. So you've got that option in there. So once I do this, it will auto reply and I just won't have to worry about review replies anymore. That's done. Like we're spending, I think in our agency, we're spending 5 to 10 hours a week going through. I have people from other countries and they like copy the review and they paste it into like ChatGPT. They check it to make sure everything looks cool. Then they copy it back and bring it back and paste it in, right? We were doing that again and again and again. Well, now they don't have to do that anymore. So I can repurpose those people to another task. So that's right off the bat, 5 to 10 hours a week. Also, our rankings are going to improve because I know that we're always going to have a response in there and it's always going to be like grammatically accurate. It's always going to be unique. So we have that in there. If you want to review it, we have this option in here too. So we'll auto create the replies, but we'll put them in draft mode. So you can not reply, but have it already written, and then you can just go through and approve it. So within a couple minutes, we can have the approval on there, and you can approve it at your own pace, right? So it's going to make review replies super easy for you guys. All right. What do you guys think of this so far? I'm seeing some comments in here. Is this going to make life easier? Yeah, we're super excited. You guys want to see some more? All right. Let's do it. All right. What about posting? So now we have a new post page, right? So we have the post. You can see this is from creation from like every time you run a post, and I'll backtrack to that in a second, but the same UI that we have that we're putting everywhere, super fast, responsive, tons of filters, be able to save it. You can do this. If I want to say like, show me the ones for this DevStruct company, right? These are all the posts. We have different statuses. You can see that this is scheduled, so it's not live. This has been sent over to Google, but it's not been approved, while this one is live, right? Some of these are in draft mode. We haven't pushed them out yet. So we're making posting very easy to be organized with this, okay? So let's see how this works. If I want to create a new post, this is awesome. I think you guys are going to like this. All right, so you got a couple options in here. This is our new posting. So what I could do if I wanted is I could highlight a bunch of these, right? So if I highlight a bunch of these, and what kind of post do I want? Oops, hold on one second. We've got standard, event, and offer, right? If you put the event, there's different stuff that's showing up here. I'm going to keep it standard. You've got your different call to actions here as well. You can add in a photo. The way this works right now, and if you can you can probably guess where we're going to take this, but I'm not going to share just to until we have it live, as I mentioned. Right now, if you post a photo in here, it's going to put the same photo, but you're going to have options on the next screen to edit that. But there's big changes coming with this. We have some awesome stuff that is coming that I just haven't seen it done anywhere else yet. And I'm so excited to have what's coming next. But we'll start off with this. So again, you can go through and you can set the tone, right? So maybe I want to set a luxurious tone. We can also come down here and I can say, hey, I want this to go by default, it's going to go live immediately. But you can schedule this if you want. You can schedule this out for whatever day and time you want it to be. And I can set this up as recurring. So within a couple minutes, right, I've got 5 locations selected there. And if I want my posts to recur weekly, maybe every Wednesday at 3:19 p.m., I will have this recur, and I'll make each new post use AI to create it. What this is doing, it knows already. We're loading in all the description, the pieces about each individual Google My Business. So everything is personalized. Each post knows the business description, the location. You can add to that here too. You have an opportunity to move the prompt in whatever direction you want, and it will still leverage that data. You can also write your own post, and you can use our shortcodes, and you can pull this stuff over. So these variables will be replaced by whatever you put in there. So if you didn't, for whatever reason, want to use the AI, what I could do is say, help me write a GMB post for this company. And I could come over here and grab this. I'll grab the location name, right? So if I just click here, there it is. It already knows what it is. And I could use all the variables that I want to do that, right? So making it super easy. I'm going to go back to the AI because I don't really see a reason not to use the AI. But it will make each one of these posts unique as it recurs. If you want to, you can delete the old one. But since they're all unique, we think that the functionality of this deleting the old one will be decreased a lot. And I can have this recur forever. So every Wednesday at this time, now I never have to write a post for my Google My Business, and it's always going to be something unique that's based on the details of this. Or maybe I don't want it. I want it more than once a week. Instead, I want to do it every 4 days for the rest of the time, right? It will do that. Or maybe I want to have it end after like 10 times, I'll have it stop. So I'm going to remove this now just for this demonstration, and I'm going to let this thing cook. Notice I've also got emojis selected. You don't have to use that. You can turn that off. You can also do hashtags. So I'm just going to go with the emoji option, and I'll click on preview results, and this thing is going to load up. We're automatically applying a filter here from like the last run, and you can see the different ones. It's generating the post. There it is, right? In the majestic wilderness of South Tahoe, Mother Nature's grandeur. So we chose luxury. So it's writing this out. If I want to, I could regenerate this. By default, It's got our emojis in there, but by default, it's in draft mode. If I set it up to be like recurring, it will automatically be publishing it. If I want to change this, I can go through here and again, and I can edit and rewrite this. If I want to publish a bunch of these, like, hey, all these look good, no worries. I can just come over here and I can set the publish status to whatever I can set the publish status right here. And I can say, let's publish these and apply it to all. So we've automated posting now too. So posting just became really, really fast, right? So, Jeff says forever, ever. Yeah, that's forever, ever. So what about the image for the recurring post? So that's something we're working through, right? So we have a big update that's coming with that. Right now, it would post the same image again and again. We understand that that's an issue, but for the update that we're doing, it is, and this, you have this option too. We kept this, maybe that's the use case for when we're creating it to delete the old one, right? Is if you've got that, that recurring, you can delete the old one so that the old image gets removed. And if it's happening like once a week, then we know that it's already going to be off the Google My Business by that. It's like in the history section of the Google My Business. So, so what do you guys think of this?
Hey, there's another question, Patrick, real quick. First name on the reviews. Is it possible to get the first name of the reviewer into the AI review?
Yeah, we've talked about that internally. I think we will be adding that. The issue that presents itself with that is, like, sometimes we can look through here and see if everyone is using their name, but I know in my agency, sometimes this is like, they'll have something that's not really their name, right? So
yeah, there was CCSSS up there.
Like Mr. RE, for instance, but I guess maybe that could make sense. We could turn that into an option to have it restate their name. It's super easy now that we've got this. We're going to be adding in a lot more information. We have a lot of pieces in here that are, let's take a look at the posting one. We'll go back. We've kind of changed our user interface with this too. So if I wanted to edit this, I can edit this post. We're going to be putting this in a lot of areas, a slide out. We're applying a lot of similar stuff to our Google My Business stuff. So completely new user interface coming out for the heat map, completely new interface coming out for the heat map, the view heat map, the heat map history, lots of awesome stuff to come out that hopefully we'll get out here in the next couple of weeks or so, but really, really stoked to get some of this stuff in here. We can go in here, and so this is through a slide out that's associated with this post. So this is the UI that we're moving to. Yeah, so any chance of adding it? Okay, I see that. That was the last question. So yeah, so that's kind of like the initial stuff. We do have another piece that's kind of hiding in here. Let me see if I can get that piece. We have a log. It's actually live on LeadSnap already. So essentially what you'll be able to see is any change that's happened to your Google My Business will be, let me just copy this link over here. We don't have it in the navigation yet, but because we're still testing it and playing with it. But let's just take a look at the log. So any changes that come through your Google My Business are now tracked, like every single thing that you do. If you add a photo, so if you want to reverse engineer, what happened, or like, hey, who did this? So you can see like John Smith made this change. He updated the location. So we're still kind of working through some of these details on this, but in short order, you're going to have a history of every single change on the Google My Business, whether that's like somebody made a suggestion to edit something, or somebody uploaded a photo, scheduled a post, edited any of the location details. If you want that history, you can go in here and select the location and look at any of the changes that have happened. You can see we activated this one inside of LeadSnap essentially. So yeah, so this stuff I think is going to make Google My Business easier. I love the feedback here. Can the client go through their login to see and do the post? Yeah. So Craig, great question. We don't have all the permission stuff set up yet, but we will. Like we're anticipating in the next week or so, you'll have full permissions to give the users like whatever they want to, kind of like, you can make it a part of your user role and assign it to users, and then like turn on and off different functionality similar to the user role stuff that we have already, which if you're not familiar is in this like users and then user roles. So we just need to be adding in the new permissions to these to these things. So you could come in here and you'll see that there is a GMB section down here somewhere, GMB management, and we can turn on and off. So this is where it will be, but we don't have this. We don't have this turned on yet. So great question though. And then I see Jeff says, can't wait to start using this today. Awesome, man. I was excited. Like I said, that posting piece, that's another like 15 hours of work that is going to be offloaded from our agency. You know, like we have 5 or 6 people on our team that are like GMB specialists and experts, and they were spending part of their time doing that. And now they can focus on other more important things. So yeah, it's a huge time saver. I think that's all the questions that are showing up for me. Happy to answer any questions. Looks like we've got a lot of positive feedback in here. Does anybody else have any questions? Feel free to just raise your hand. Not seeing anything. Cool. Can we use our own open API to ensure it's generating using ChatGPT 4? Currently, no. We are using ChatGPT 4. There are like token limits. So we have it set to like auto switch from 4 to 3.5, but we are addressing like how we can do that to always have it be 4. But currently we don't have the option to put that in, but it's a great idea. It'd be super easy for us to just like allow you to run it on your own API. And that would help us with like our own like pricing limitations around that as people blow this thing up. Right. So one other, I guess I forgot to show you guys one part of the create posts. So we looked at how we can create a bunch of posts for different locations, but you also have this option. So just kind of explain this, like if I choose more than one location, so notice how I can change this right now, but then if I choose a second location, we turn this off. So you kind of have 2 options just to kind of protect the creation. So imagine I had like 100 locations and I set this to be 100 posts. So then like this could overflow our system in short order, right? Because we can be exponential pretty quickly, right? So you have 2 options right now. Like you can make a bunch of posts for one location, or you can make one post for a bunch of locations. But maybe if we set it up to use, your own API, then we could just like turn that limitation off, and then you can just make as many as you want because it's on your ChatGPT API. So yeah. Cool. So seeing any other questions. Do you mind showing me how to geotag images for post? Yeah, so it's not really set up correctly for that. That's a great point. I actually hadn't considered that at all. But we are building in a photo library that is going to make life easier. This is part of what I don't want to dive too deep into until we get it out there, because I think we're going to have a huge first mover advantage on what we're setting up for the photo library. But once like we can get the stuff in there pretty quickly, I guess the best spot to be would be you'd set it up in 2 spots, one when creating the post and another one to be able to click on the image and add that image. You can always, one thing you can do too is you can come over here and you can preview the post, and like you can, sure, oh, there it is. If I wanted to edit any photo, I could do it right from here. But we're going to make it super easy for the photo part of it. We've got like 3 or 4 things that I personally haven't seen anyone else do related to photos. There's an obvious one that you guys are probably thinking about, but there's probably 2 or 3 other ones that maybe are not so obvious that are going to make just life really easy from a photo perspective, that we're going to be adding in here. Man, I'm like, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I want to share it, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna keep it. So Janeri hit on the obvious one there. Are we able to do AI photos? I'll just let that part of it out. We have AI photo stuff coming. We're working on that. But I actually think like that's going to make it easy for this automation, but there's another part that's not AI related that is going to make life so much easier for us that we're going to build into this platform related to photos. So coming down the road soon. Can we add our own image library to pull from? So Doug, can you talk more about that? Was that Doug Heimbach? Nope, that was a different Doug. Doug, if you'd unmute,
Yeah, no, well, I mean, right now, I mean, I just store a lot of things up in my drive, but I mean, if there was like some kind of a space where I could upload images, because I've got some pretty weird niches. I'm trying to get out of them, but anyway, they're pretty controlled and stuff as far as what kind of images I can show and things. And I do use ChatGPT to create some of the images and stuff. And I actually like the look in it because it's very attracting to people. I mean, they really stand out as opposed to your standard image. But yeah, I was just thinking some kind of a drive link or something that I could tag images, or I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there and brainstorming where I could. And then also you got photos from vendors that they're already geotagged because they took like, let's say plumbers and stuff, where they take a lot of photos on the job, they give them to you, and all that data is, is in the photo. So if I could pull that in, I mean, I think that would help for the help in the ranking and stuff, because it's proximity and all that, and the photos have got all the geodata in it, right? So
exactly, yeah. So
that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. And but yeah, I'll be honest. I was a member. My business went through a real downturn. I kind of backed out, and I'm signing up again today. So
awesome, man. Would love to have you back. And the photo library stuff that you're asking about, like our photo library that we're building right now is going to blow your socks off. I can promise you. Like what we're doing, like I said, I haven't seen anyone else do it. That's going to make life easier for this business model. I'm not sure if I shared with Brad at the event, but Brad, if I did, let's keep it under our hats on it. But it is going to blow people away when they see what we do, especially for our business model for SEO people. I'm just so stoked to get it out there. It kind of like came together over the last like 2 or 3 weeks. Like some of the missing pieces lined up in my head of what we need to do. I know I'm like, hey, here's a cliffhanger. I'm not giving you more information, but I'll tell you, Doug, it's like what you're looking for is going to be very well handled with our next update around that photo area.
Great, fantastic, appreciate it.
Yep. I guess for now, I'll just have to trust me on it, but I can promise you. Yeah.
More than myself.
Yeah. I see Mike Reamer for review responses and healthcare niches. We're building in HIPAA compliance filters and stuff like this. That's came up multiple times for us with launching it into the 7-figure agency space last week. That's something we're going to be tying in there. I think there's ways, and maybe Mike, this, additional GBP prompts. I think you can already get there with what we have. If you go into the reviews, you have the ability to add in, well, maybe for the reviews we didn't. Yeah. You have the ability to make HIPAA compliant posts because we gave you the prompt, but I guess we need to add in a prompt right here or a checkbox too. That's like, can ensure that that's the case. And we'll absolutely do that. Cause like I said, this has come up multiple times for us. This is our first launch at it. So we're still like, fine tuning it. A lot of other stuff that wasn't a part of like our initial launch that will be coming into this to make life better, make life easier. Additional columns, tracking, dashboards, all kinds of stuff like this, recommendations that will be coming in. Yeah, so super cool. But for now, we don't have that ability for the HIPAA stuff yet, Mike, for the reply. So I'm putting this on a note list, and I'll get that in there. All right. Any other questions? Looks like you guys are pretty psyched for this, which is awesome because, a lot of these ideas, we're just like, I haven't seen this in other places. So you've got to go out and be the pioneer, and you're kind of in the laboratory for a little while banging on it. And then you push it out. And then, we had really similar responses at the 7-figure agency event. I think that's why we did so well is like, people are like, I've never seen anything do this. So, we're psyched to have this in here to make it super easy. And now we've opened up a lot of AI stuff. We've got a lot of AI stuff that is coming into the Google My Business part of it, but also a lot of AI stuff that's coming into the CRM, the phone system, like transcription, sentiment analysis of calls, you can use for sales training, and like AI answering outbound calls. All this stuff's on our docket. I'm a little bit more willing to share those pieces than the Google My Business stuff, just because I know that there's like competitors that are watching us and actively copying what we do. So I would love to just be the first mover on those things, like I mentioned. But any other questions? I know we're at like 40 minutes in, and we're normally at like an hour and a half, but that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I'm happy to take you through other parts of the application, answer any questions on this, or if there's something that you're struggling with in your agency. Yeah, so auto posting queue of images we get from clients would be good, Mike. Yeah, that's kind of where we're headed, and pieces of what we're building out right now is exactly in that direction. All right, cool. I guess I can just take you guys through other parts of the application. We've moved over this stuff. I don't know how many of you guys are actively paying attention to like the ranking summary for trend analysis.
Another question just came in, Patrick,
Yeah.
for the frequency of GBP posts per week.
Yeah, I would say like the optimal is probably going to be 1 to 2 per week. Somewhere around like that, right? So you want to be active and you want to be targeting. Like you should be looking at the areas that you want to improve your ranking on. So if I've got a heat map that I've completed, so this, I have no idea what the Superior Built Roof Company is, where this came from. It's like it's in Fort Myers over there next to Craig. Is that where you're at, Craig? I think that's where you're at, somewhere over in there. Yeah, so if I'm trying to target a new location, so for instance, this is a 4 and these are 9s, what I can do is I can go and I can use this information and say, okay, what's over here? Fellowship Park, right? So then I could go back into my post and let's actually do this. Let's do this kind of like more from a real standpoint. So if I don't know what locations we have in here. I'm going to open up this in a new tab and let's look at one of these locations. Okay, so we're also giving you guys the ability in the short future, you'll be able to add in listings for tracking that you don't have authenticated. Your functionality will be limited, but you can add in any listing you want. And then you can set up tracking. And then if you authenticate it, you'll have additional stuff on it. You can already set up tracking on any listing now, but we're going to make it easier. So let's just look at this, like whatever this thing is, wavelength hair salon. I have no idea whose this is or how this got in here, but let's look at this one and we'll go back over here. Let's run a new heat map. I'll choose this wavelength place. Okay, so we'll say hair salon. Looks like this is in Waterloo. Hair salon. So I can add in as many things as I want. This could be like hair coloring. I think that's something you women do. All right, so I'll set this up to be 1 mile and I'll make the grid size be 13 by 13. So looks like it's maybe way too big for where the small city here. So let me scroll down here and I'm just going to change this a bit. So we have this option here. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I can make this be a circle, or I can go over here and say, okay, let me just draw this out however I want it to be. All right, so we'll hit all these areas and make this my own shape. And you'll see that this will reposition. So it looks like we're kind of out in the grass a lot. Probably not going to have many people. That's probably out in the where there's not much population. Okay, so I'm going to click on start this heat map. And then we'll come up with a strategy. We'll kind of like build a strategy while we're on the call on how we can improve their rankings for this. So we'll let this thing run. Looks like this is in Canada, not ranking too well. So probably their location is probably somewhere up in this area. We always know that we're going to rank better near where the location is. Maybe this is I don't know how big of an area this is, but they're not ranking very well at all for hair salon, right? So give it a second to fill in. And one of the things that you want to do is like, you want to compare yourself to the top people. I don't know why that row is struggling. I think we did a couple terms. Let's see if the other one is finished. Man, the new user interface that's coming for this is going to be so much nicer. All right, wavelength, put that in there. Say today. I'm not spelling that right. Just get rid of this. Okay. Nice wavelength not showing up here. I guess let's run with this one. Seems like that thing is stuck for a second. Who built this software? Let's see if this thing's finished. For whatever reason, it got stuck there. But here's what I would do is I would look at this and I would say, okay, what are the rankings like for this one? And who's the top dog? So we're back in Fort Myers and we want to improve this location. So I would go through and you could make a post. Since we didn't get the real listing, I'm not going to make the actual post, but imagine that this was wavelength and I wanted to improve my rankings in this fellowship park. Well, I could go over here and I can select wavelength and I'll say, I'm going to create a post and I'm going to say like, mention, let's do this since we did have that other one. Hold on 1 second. That thing finish. Kitchener, Ontario. That's where that was. So I'm going to find out on the map. I'm going to find out an area that we want to target, right? So Laurelwood, right? So that's a spot where maybe we want to improve our ranking is Laurelwood. I think there was like some vibes over there in that part of town. So now if I go back over into the posting area and I've got wavelength selected and I could set this up as whatever, if it's a hair salon, maybe I want to have a booking spot where I'll put in a URL and I will, so this is hair salon, right? So what do these women want? I think we'll assume this is like some kind of like up hair. Let's do funny. Let's do funny. And then I'm going to say like, I want my post to target the Laurelwood. Am I spelling that right? Paul Myers maybe knows this area. I don't know. Laurelwood, part of Kitchener, Ontario. Also, please mention hair salon. And I'm going to create three. I'll create 3 of these, I guess. We'll include emojis. If I click on this preview, it'll give me the example. So this can be good in this scenario where you're messing with the prompt. So that way, like maybe you've got like 100 selected here, or 30, right? 30 posts that are going out and you want to, you want to check it before you print all these out, right? And make sure that it is working right. Notice that they put the phone number in here, right? So it's got the call to action. We're going to give you guys the option to not do that because sometimes the phone number can cause it to be rejected by Google. So we'll give you that option. You can see it's mentioning Laurelwood, right? So I put that in the prompt, right? And I imagine there's hair salon. It's part of the name, but it's probably on there a few times, I would think. I guess it's just got it in there with the name, Wavelength Hair Salon. So we've got that. We're okay with this now. So let's go ahead and let's go and push this out. And all of these posts will be targeting that area, right? Additionally, what we can do, so like while that's generating our Laurelwood Hair Salon post, there it is right there, Laurelwood, right? Real simple. It's like we've just printed it out to target that specific area. We can also go over here and maybe we want to go to that location and let's upload some photos to Wavelength, right? So I'll click in here and I will add in a bunch of photos for this location that target Laurelwood. So I saw earlier someone had posted questions about learning to improve the Google My Business. Well, this is part of it, right? Is we can add this stuff in here. Come in here and let me add in some photos. Just pull these epoxy flooring photos that I have here. We'll add these guys in here. So I've got my photos. I'm going to pretend they're photos of hair salon stuff. So I will make these ones be, we'll make these be interior photos. And I'm going to rename this to be like hair salon Laurelwood. Right? And what if I came over here and I clicked on this and it looks like it's almost, there's Laurelwood. I'll put it on Laurelwood, right? And click apply. And I can schedule these out if I want to. I'll have one photo. Imagine I've uploaded like 30 photos. Let's say I've got one photo every 12 days and I'll click schedule and you'll see the dates, the post dates of when these photos will drip onto the Google My Business. So the first one will be today. The next one will be on March 25th. And then on April 6th, the third one will go in there. And if I want to, I can add in keywords for these photos. So I know there's some debate out there on like, hey, just geotagging and naming the photos. Like nobody really knows. I think Google isn't telling us. Just because when we download the photo off of Google and it doesn't have this stuff, doesn't mean that it wasn't, I mean, it was there when we uploaded it. So Google is doing something with it. They're aware of it. I think them removing it is almost like it could be telling that they're trying to tell people not to do that. Like, why would they scrape it? So, but it is what it is. I'll take the advantages that I can get within like while being, in integrity. And I think like going through and like SEOing our photos is a good thing to do. So especially when we've given you the easy button to do it, and we'll be continuing to do that with our updates that are coming. So I see there's a question on Facebook to show the phone system. Yeah, for sure. Let's jump into that. Dive into this phone system. So phone system, first of all, you can buy local phone numbers pretty much all over the world. Gennaro, I'll get to you in 1 second. Let me answer this previous question here. So someone asking to go over the phone system. You can buy local phone numbers all over the world. If you guys are using CallRail or something like that, I think there's no like price that there's no plan on CallRail that you can have that is more expensive or cheaper than our stuff. But if I want a new number, I can just come over here. I can purchase my new number and say like it's for this like Carol's Roofing Company, and then I could go and like what services do I want for it? Do I want it to be local or toll free? What country? Do I want a word inside the number or an area code? So for instance, if I wanted like where I'm from, 937, it should go back and find a bunch of different 937 numbers all over, right? If I don't have a plan, it's $5 for the number, but then we have plans where it's like, a bunch of numbers are included. And so that's kind of like the purchasing works. For the texting piece, which is used in our automations, you'll have, there's a rule from the United States and Canadian government. You have to get some approval. So our support team has gotten really good at getting those approvals. So they can help you out with that. You can,
on the pricing, Patrick, Kyle's asking, is it a one-time $5 fee?
no, it's monthly because we get charged monthly. I'm going to go through that pricing too, because I know we just changed our pricing quite a bit. So we now have plans that are just for like the Google My Business and heat map, right? So there's enterprise plans, but to get started, we've switched to credit systems. So each grid point on the heat map is now like a credit, because what we found is some of our competitors were using these grid points and like, even though we provided more credits, like it wasn't apples to apples. So we switched over to this. It also like kind of pairs with the workload that we do, which gives you guys more flexibility. So, for existing plans, we like assume that you're running them all at 13 by 13 and then migrated those credits. So for instance, like a 13 by 13 grid would be 169 credits, right? A 9 by 9 would be 81 credits. So that's how that works. So if you had like 50 heat maps, we took 50 times 169, and that's how many credits you have in your plan if you had 50 heat maps per month. So for existing plans, that's how it works. But now we have these plans that are just the heat map and the Google My Business part of it, because, maybe other people are using other systems. So we've made it easier for people with like that really like these features. We've got the CRM plans down here, which include heat maps. And then we have the phone tracking plans down here too. So you'll see like for 15 local phone numbers, you get 100 text message and 250 local minutes. That's $49 a month. And then it's like a penny and a half for additional tax or I'm sorry, is that 15 cents? And then 5 cents, I guess, for extra minutes. And then the numbers decrease as you go up, right? And then there's different pricing for different countries. So we're basically paying on a monthly basis. We don't own the phone number. You guys own it if you buy it, but our service charges us for it on a monthly basis. So we're passing on those costs to you guys. That's why there's a monthly associated with each number. It's going to be the same, I think, everywhere you go. So like circling back to like how this stuff works, once you have a number, you can do some pretty complex stuff with it. You can make your call flows is what we call them. So let's say I want to record calls as they come in. Well, I can do that and I can play a greeting message. So I'll put this MP3 here, play this MP3. So when someone calls, it's going to play that. And then what do I want to do next? So maybe this says like this call will be recorded for quality assurance, or what we do sometimes in our agency too is like, we will not use this greeting. We will put a menu in place, and that menu will be like, again, it will be an MP3 message, but it will say, hey, we've been getting a lot of spam from people. So just to prove that you're human. And I would say, hey, this is like Patrick with Patrick's Roofing Company. We've been getting a ton of spam. So just to prove you're human, just press 1 and we'll transfer you to someone on our team and they'll be happy to help you out. And that can help weed out some of the robocallers and that type of stuff. But we're working on some like AI stuff around this so that like we can weed this stuff out before. But I could say like press 1. If I press 1, I could put in additional, maybe this is sales. If we're in a different scenario, if I want to say press 1 for sales or press 2 for support. We have a tow truck company and we do like heavy duty towing or like standard towing, right? And on my message, so I like standard towing, and it will follow this line down over to the rest of the call flow where I could like, hey, I want to, let me just delete that step. So if it's standard towing, I want to dial. Oops, what is it not liking? Oh, it's I gotta select this. Okay. So if it's standard towing, then I'm gonna dial. What is your problem, dude? Let me just delete this step. I'm not quite sure what's happening there. Let me go back. Okay. So I'm gonna set my recording here. And if the user presses 1, I can route them off in a different direction, right? I could take them into a dial step where maybe I want to dial 3 people at the same time. And this could go to a browser phone where they can actually answer inside the browser. And I would just need to select a user and it would ring inside their browser, right? Or I could have it go to maybe a like client for somebody. So this Carol Johnson, it automatically would go to Carol, or I can put in a number, right? So it will follow this. And that's just for this like branch of this if someone presses 1. And you can kind of see how dynamic this phone system can get because I could set up different options. And this works pretty similar to like if I choose a schedule, right? I could have it, man, I am just stress testing this system here. All right. So I can choose a schedule and say like, okay, between these hours on weekends, between certain hours, I'm going to follow this and I want to like call this person. And then a different time I'll call this other person. Right. One of the cool things that we built in here too is like the round robin. So round robin is like, hey, I want to send like 50% of the calls to these 3 people and I'll send 50% to this one person. Or if I want to use weighted distribution, I could say I'll have 80% go to these. Maybe I don't really like these 3 people. I'll send them 50% and I'll send 85% to this one person. So you can kind of like distribute that out pretty easily. And then you go out like voicemails and tagging. Everything is tracked in here. So if you go in and look at the calls that have come in, I don't know if we have like fake calls coming into the system. So all the calls are in here. You've got all kinds of filters. You can make outgoing calls. You can text right from here, right? I can send text messages. I can use the dialer to call. I can call through the browser. Or I can have it call on my phone. So it would call my phone. And then when I pick up, I press 1 and it will connect. So the phone will take place on my phone, but it will be with this tracking number. So that's kind of like how that phone system works. So there's a lot more pieces to it. I'm not sure who was asking about it, but yeah, it's pretty powerful. We're putting a lot of effort into beefing this thing up with a lot of AI stuff that's coming in. So really excited.
There's a follow-up question on that with dynamic number insertion.
We don't have the dynamic number insertion yet, but that's coming. Like that's part of what we're building. So that's an area where we feel like systems like CallRail have an edge over us right now. Obviously, like CallRail and these other platforms are they're just like phone systems where we have like an entire CRM around it. So we want to like close that gap so they don't have any advantage over us. And that's one of the areas that we feel like they're beating us right now. But obviously we have things like, hey, when a phone call comes in, I don't know if you guys have seen this, if you're new to the system, I could say like when a phone call comes in, maybe what I want to do is like when there is a phone call, if the phone call is maybe if from one of these companies or the call duration is greater than or equal to 30 seconds, then I can wait. Maybe I want to wait 3 minutes and send a text message, right? And then I can drag over stuff from like the client that's associated with the company of the call, or even the caller information. If I wanted to send my client, maybe I want to send my client a text message that says, hey, that phone call was from us, right? And here's their info. Here's the information. So what do I want to send over? Maybe I want to send over a copy of the call recording. So I can send over a link where they can listen to that, or the duration and the time of the call, right? I can drag all this stuff over and it will replace it in real time. So you've got all those options in there too. You could do this for missed calls too. You could say, maybe instead you want to send a text message to the caller, and you could send a text message, say, hey, sorry, we missed your call. If the call status equals missed, right? If call duration, instead of that, I'll go to like status is equal to missed. Then I can send a text message. I could wait 3 minutes and say, hey, sorry, I missed your call. What are you looking to have done? Right. So as we build out our mobile app, we're going to have this where your clients can install this, a white labeled version of this, and that two-way conversation can be opened up directly as a result of this call. So that's going to be a really, really big piece. Janari, I know your hand's getting tired. What do you got?
Hey, Patrick.
Hey.
It was when I forgot where you were at. I think you was creating a post and you can put the geolocation. I think you was doing that with the keywords. I don't know what location was that, but my question is, is that area where you put keywords, is that going to be tagged to the picture, or is that for us to track our own keywords that we are tagging to those images?
So this prompt right here where we put it in.
No, not that one.
Oh, on the photos.
Yes, so it's on the photos. I can't
sorry.
remember.
Yeah, I thought.
No, it's okay. I just wasn't sure which one it was, so I couldn't recall.
Let's see here. Yeah, let me get back over there.
Sorry, I was trying to get you when you were at there, but then
I know. Sorry, I went off in a different direction.
No worries.
Okay, we'll look at this company this time. I think there's a bunch of photos in here. Okay, so with the photos here, I'll add a photo in here. Go back to this. We'll get this guy. How many of you guys have this guy on your websites? If you have a air conditioning site, I feel like I've seen this guy on other sites. But so this is what you're asking about, Janari. What was your specific question?
Yeah, so I guess I'm not clear. So the new name is the name of the image, like we would optimize.
That's right.
The keyword, is that for us to track it, or does that get attached to the image as well?
That gets attached to the image as well. So there's like, this is a part of the EXIF data that's inside that is an option for every photo that's taken on a phone, is like, you could put this in here. So this could be like HVAC, Laurelwood or whatever, right? Or maybe it's like, whatever, AC repair. So we can add in a bunch of stuff in here.
Gotcha.
So that's
And you were
that's
going over it. I missed it probably if you mentioned this, but I was like, is
I
that
think I didn't mention it.
okay?
Yeah.
That was it.
There's a
Cool.
couple of other questions in the chat, Patrick, if you want to look at that, from Craig and Doug.
So Craig, can that automation be tied into a duration and then you send Stripe for billing? So we're building that in. We don't have that yet. You do have the option to use Zapier. So Zapier connects to Stripe. So you could make it happen. We just don't natively have that built in yet. But it is like, I'm hoping to get that done in the next like 2 months or so. It's been on our roadmap for a long time, is to have like this Stripe piece in there. It's just kind of like, what direction do we want to go? We have so many ideas, but coming to theaters near you soon and currently available through Zapier. So what if the client wants to send a text back with an address and other info? So that's kind of hard to do right now at the moment, Doug, but with our mobile app, we're going to make that really easy. You can set up automations to make sure that these text messages are getting forwarded to your client. We don't have an easy way to respond other than like letting them log in. But you can create that user, set them up. You can white label the platform completely, so they don't necessarily have to know that they're logging into LeadSnap. And you can turn things on and off and like go over to the text area and allow them to text it. So in our agency, I have a receptionist that monitors all the text. But these are some of our big improvements that we're bringing to this like CRM piece in the near future. So pretty exciting. And I think with like the growth that we're seeing now from our Google My Business profile, it's going to allow us to develop faster and bring on some additional developers to help out with this stuff. Will there be more tasks with Zapier? So Janeri, that Zapier piece, you can do anything, like anything that you can do through Zapier, you can make that integration and connection. So you can leverage one of our triggers now, and then anything that's an action within any application for Zapier, you can leverage any of that stuff in Zapier. So Stripe is one of 4,000 or 5,000 applications out there that have all sorts of different actions. So we'll be adding in additional triggers. So on our part, it's like, okay, what's the trigger? Like, what do you want to start this event sequence? Right. So we have these ones right now, but we've got like maybe another 20 that we're going to be adding in here. So like when a new text message comes or whatever, then you can come and tie into Zapier through that. So that's kind of how that works. Yep, triggers. You got it. Okay. We're at 4:05 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know if there's any other questions in here. Was this helpful? I know that we've gone over stuff in the past related to this, but maybe you guys haven't seen some of this. I don't know if this, like, obviously I appreciate all the positive feedback on the AI stuff we put in here. Any other questions on the application? Jeff, very helpful. Would you consider, in addition to setting up an external billing for a duration, can you consider having the ability to set up one to notify you to, I'm sorry, the second half of that sentence has some typos, to notify you to listen to, maybe that's listen to the recording before billing?
Yeah, it is. Can I just ask it directly?
Yeah, talk to me.
So, obviously you answered the question of having something to automatically bill at a certain amount through Stripe or other integrations for payment. So that would obviously be a lead maybe that you had come in for call duration. You're just billing it on a pay per call basis. The other thought was, if you were having a call come in and before billing, you need to verify that the call recording what transpired met a certain set of criteria. So that could you make it possibly so that it would trigger, hey, you need to listen to this call, and then have a way for you to mark it, yes, it meets the criteria, so that you can move it through the billing.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do, Craig, is give you the option to have different statuses and then have rules based on those statuses, where it's like, hey, bill requires approval or automatically bill. When we bring in the AI transcription piece, it's going to make the confidence that you can have from, like, you don't just have to be 30 seconds, because the AI can read it and be like, hey, was an appointment booked? If appointment was booked according to the AI, then bill this person. If not, if unsure, what's your confidence level? All this type of stuff that we can have a rating system applied to by the AI to increase that automation, but we'll always give you the option to make it manual.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate all you guys tuning in. It's great to see so many faces that I haven't seen here in a little while. And even the people who didn't show their faces, but their pictures, like Mr. Chuck, my buddy Chuck. Haven't seen him in a little while. Oh, he's coming in screen. There he is. Awesome, man. It's
There
good
he
to see
is.
you. How you been, man?
I've been good. I've been looking forward to this stuff, playing around with it. The GMB posts or GBP posts, they're awesome for our admin assistants, really going to help us out.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. That like this is the part, like we're in the trenches with you guys in our agency. We're not just like the creators of LeadSnap. We're building this for our agency too. And we're looking for ways to make our agency be more streamlined and faster. And you know, we've spent a lot of time rebuilding parts and pieces that maybe like wasn't apparent to people, but we had to like strengthen our foundation, and now we have the ability to go a lot faster. So really excited for some of these updates that we're going to be pushing out with like I mentioned, with some of the photos, redoing the heat map, the AI stuff that's coming into the CRM, moving over this like new interface that we have for like the Google My Business to all the other parts of the application, like the leads and contacts areas, the mobile application, all this stuff. Super excited. So appreciate all your guys' support on this as always. And yeah, you guys have an awesome week. Hopefully you guys do what you need to do to create some wins in your business. That's one point I'm going to leave you with. Second point, would love to see you guys. If it makes sense, join us at SEO Spring Training. Let's have fun. Let's hang out. Third point, the LeadSnap Mansion Mastermind event, July 24th through 29th in Orlando. We're going to bring the fire again. It's going to be amazing. If you haven't had a chance to come to one of our past events, July 24th, I think it's actually going to be the 25th through 28th. I'm sorry. 24th is going to be for the Rank Masters coaching program. And then 25th is going to be the meet and greet. And then we'll have 2 days of speakers, pool party on Sunday. The place it's the coolest house I've ever been to. Really excited. And would love to network with you guys. If that sounds interesting to you guys, would love to have you guys. All right. You guys have an amazing week, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care.